No, we'll call the police. You can't do this. You can't
Okay.
threaten people.
Let's call the
Do not do
police.
this.
Call the
Right,
police.
Go away. Just go away.
Don't touch me.
All right, don't touch me either. Don't
You touch
film
me first.
Don't film me. You're being filmed right now. Who are you?
No comments.
All right, well, this is going to be posted.
Hey folks, so as you can see, the Stasi, the Gestapo, all those German favorites, they're all back in full swing against Jews or anybody supporting them, apparently. Yeah, that's a professor, okay, at University of Washington. And of course, the sleuths online found out his public profile at the university. But yeah, they have taken on these kind of schlubby Karens, these pear-shaped Karens like this professor right here, have taken on the role of being the Stasi, the new secret police, right? The paramilitary arm that says you are not allowed on this public space that's paid for by taxpayer money. My job is paid for by taxpayer money, but apparently you can't be here. This is where we're at, folks. And I've said it ad nauseum, of course. The leftist cult has come full circle. It was all a ruse in the 60s, free love, all that. It had nothing to do with it. It was to get you pulled into it. But underneath it is this nasty iron hand that really wants you in prison. They really dislike anybody that goes against their narrative. But I mean, when you've been filling the universities with Marxist and Marxist professors, the losers of society, since the 50s, well, this is what you get. This is the animal, and the beast you get is this nasty piece. This, as I said, Karen, definitely a Karen, but I don't think he has the right to do this anyway. I mean, you can film. I mean, my camera is my weapon, right? Right? But I tell you, give this guy jackboots and an SS and a swastika, and he would be happy as a clam, okay? So, University of Washington global health professor James Pfeiffer, that's this schlub's name, is captured on video accosting a student inside the Hamas encampment Wednesday afternoon, which is what it is. And thank you to Jonathan Cho, who's been doing a hell of a job reporting all the Northwest stuff, as well as Andy No, too. All the craziness in the Northwest. So he's captured on video accosting this student inside the Hamas encampment Wednesday afternoon. Pfeiffer emerges from a tent pushing pro-Palestine propaganda. Then he tries to prevent the student from recording on public property. The professor demands to see ID. I don't know if this is in the job description, but when the student refuses to comply, Pfeiffer puts on his SS uniform and jackboots and physically tries to push the student away. I added that in. The professor proceeds to record with his own phone and threatens to call the cops. Here is another example of a UW staff member trying to silence and bully a student in this unsanctioned encampment. When will school leaders take action and shut this down? The student is now considering filing a police report. Well, as I've said, when Qatar is probably your principal funder of your university, United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, you're probably going to be hesitant to shut this down. You are probably going to go after the students. And by not doing anything, the university is totally complicit in this. So let's take a gander at some of these comments. You see the evolution right here of these people turning into, as I've said, many patterns in history. This is why they only teach certain parts of history in colleges now, because they don't want you to know what these regimes have done in the past. And what regime am I talking about? The one I always talking about, the most egregious, communism. This is what they teach. This is what they preach. It's all under this veneer of nicey nice and tolerance and all this stuff, but it's not. It's not at all. And the fruits of voila are showing, as Professor Pfeiffer here, Mr. Education here, has shown. So here is more on Professor Pfeiffer. Let's see, Professor of Global Health, Professor of Anthropology, Adjunct Professor, Health Systems and Population Health, Executive Director, Health Alliance International. Sounds like he's into eugenics too. Because I have a feeling this guy doesn't give a shit about anybody's health, obviously by his actions. He actually probably is one of these Malthusian nut jobs that's like, no, eugenics are good. Now, I've heard people argue and go, oh, well, eugenics doesn't just mean, like reducing the population or stuff like that. And I'm like, I get it. But in this context, seeing as he's probably gets his funding global health, he's probably on some boards for globalism, which aims at reducing the population. Okay, so that is a segment of eugenics. Perhaps not all, but definitely a segment. So yeah, that's Dr. Pfeiffer. If you want to attend his class, I don't know if you can though. If you're a Jew, you cannot attend James Pfeiffer's class. So here is this neo-Nazi right here, KKK. He's got it all down, and I guarantee he would flip out and have a seizure if you said that to him. But I'd say, but by your actions, Dr. Pfeiffer, you seem to exhibit all these traits. So, of course, the commentary, of course, is fantastic. What an asshat. Good job, Jonathan. UW, James Pfeiffer needs to be fired for this. We'll see. We'll see. What an awful human being. Fire Professor James Pfeiffer. We absolutely need to get rid of tenure. Ooh, that's a good point. It clearly causes professors to feel they can do or say anything without consequences. Exactly. Tenure kind of scrapes away a level of accountability, I believe, and I believe it gives them a little feeling of immunity from consequences, which it obviously does, because then they start acting like this after years and years. So I agree. You can't film people, says man filming people. I can't imagine any of my professors in grad school, most of them trained in the 40s and 50s, behaving this way or drinking this toxic Kool-Aid. I was lucky to have finished school in 92. I was probably in one of the last groups to get the sensible academics. Yeah, it's about when I died. I would agree. I finished school finally. I finally finished it in like 96, and I went on to grad school 98. So 2000. So I got out. And now I look back and I go, oh, so that was what wokeness, that's what that was. And Marxism was already there. It had been established there since the 50s. But man, I wish I would have known that earlier. He looks like the type to be caught touching students, to be honest. He does, doesn't he? I mean, look at that. He's like, let's see, I'm going to turn that off. Yeah, this is a guy who's like, hey, I'm going to touch students. No, that's alleged. Well, he's married, we know that, or he's wearing a ring. Married to a guy or girl, who knows? But yeah, this is him. Him being the tolerant and loving left right here, right? When he finally touches stuff and starts to push the kid and grab him. Giving him the finger. Dude, put on your swastikas. You know what? It's interchangeable. If anybody thinks communism and fascism, these two things are very much alike. So we could go ahead and go down the route of this being the NKVD or the KGB or the Cheka, whatever you want. Do the Russian version of it. He's it. So let's see. I found out today that my daughter's tests for Japanese language are all woke topics. She's expected to be able to talk about them all. Nothing about Japanese culture, nothing about travel or what you'd expect. It's about gender, race, climate. Every subject is indoctrination. Well, that's the thing. If you go in here, this is happening. There was something happening. Oh, at MIT. To get accepted, you had to write. I think there was something about you had to write your essay on a DEI subject. Okay, it had to be related to DEI. Well, they got rid of that requirement. But me, I'm like, that's like a textual version of a struggle session. So that even if you're not into it or you're not all about this DEI Marxist crap, you're still required to go through with it, to go through this humiliation process, a struggle session. So it sounds like they're just trying to inject wokeness and DEI into everything. And this is the last bastion, is the university system. But they're letting it go. Do you think they're letting it go because of more morals? No, because these are amoral individuals. No, they're letting it go because the corporate gods said, DEI is not working. People have figured it out. And now we're getting sued for it. We got to let it go. So it's just a financial thing. They don't act based on a moral compass. You think Larry Fink of BlackRock bases his decisions on any sort of moral compass? Absolutely not. So Zubi Bubala says, I was wondering who trained all college kid activists to act like developmentally delayed dysfunctional adolescents. My question has been answered. He should be expelled from the U. He's a terrorist supporter. Well, yeah, if you're supporting Hamas, you are. It is estimated that 500,000 Marxist socialist communists have infiltrated academia since the 70s. This is the fruit of their labor. Well, if that number is true, definitely. They planted these seeds a long time ago, and now it's coming to fruition, as you can see, creating this Gestapo, Cheka, KGB, Stasi, okay, where people take it upon themselves to be, I am law enforcement. I am the dictator of this new secular religion. I will come and be the inquisition of this new religion and put you through a struggle session, you camera-toting kid. So I need some muscle over here to deal with this reporter, Melissa Click. Nothing ever changes. Those who can't do, teach. Those who can't teach Hamas. I like that one. From his website, Dr. Pfeiffer is the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the Department of Global Health. Well, there you go. Bingo. So these people are the most racist people on earth. That's what DEI is really standing for. That it's really it's getting this stigma of, well, basically you're standing up for racism. You're saying segregation and racism are wonderful. So this guy he took the adrenochrome for sure. This professor needs to be fired, period. He does not have the right to bully or intimidate. He looks bloated from too much soy tempeh. Campus police need to be at all the terrorist gatherings. Well, this is the Northwest, remember. It's like the staging ground of Chaz, the Chaz Autonomous Zone, where they took over that police precinct in Seattle for like 2 weeks. Portland, Antifa. This is that zone. This is where all these pupa come from. Look at that beautiful sky in the background. Too bad much soy has overrun the area, so that only their kind get to enjoy it. Same betas that threaten to call cops also define them and shout ACAB. Hypocrites, fire them all. University of Washington is an anti-Semitic college. Well, obviously. This is my alma mater. I assure you, the campus is public space open to all. I'm embarrassed for what U of Dub has become. So I bet you $1 million that had some random Middle Eastern person come there, and not a student either, had come there and filmed him, he would have been just fine with it. Okay? But no, this guy's a racist. I'm calling it for what it is now, folks. They've been using this term for years to make anybody who disagrees with them seem like, hey, you're a racist, even though you're like, well, that's not related. This, in turn, this is true racism. If you're looking at some Jewish kid, I assume, and you're just going, you're not allowed here. You're not allowed in these parts, them parts. Okay, it's the same attitude. It's the same stereotype. Okay, it's just without the twang. You're the same dude, okay? I can't believe these people are supposed to be the intelligent, the gifted, the scholarly, because all I see is a thug. I just see thuggery. I don't see anything that has to do with being intellectual or academic here at all. Nothing here has to do with having an open mind or intellectual curiosity, which I think the university system was set up to be that at one time, maybe 100 years ago. Couple 100 years ago, but no, I don't think so. Well, at least here in America, I thought that was set up for. After this is over, and it will be, he is never going to work at any university in America again. Yeah, I really hope this follows him around. I really do. We'll see, but I don't know. They protect their own. This cabal, this nasty, seedy den of academic, I don't know, demigods. I hope. I don't know. It's hard to break through that. They protect their own, but I think once it starts to get blown apart, they will start to point the finger at each other. They'll start to do the accusation thing. It's kind of like you always see these people, like if you see somebody who like are involved in a murder, like I watch Dateline a lot. So you have like a boyfriend and a girlfriend involved in a murder. Well, they always say this. They'll always be like, we're both going to jail, but I will protect you. I won't rat you out or anything. And about 2 weeks later, one of them rats the other person out. So I kind of see that down in the future for these people. We won't rat each other out. We'll protect each other, blah, blah, blah. But then eventually when things do eventually fall apart and when accountability actually affects their lives, they've been protected by tenure, all this, and a whole bunch of other things. But I think when the day comes that they aren't protected and they have to face full accountability, they're going to start pointing the finger at each other. So this can be actually quite fun to watch. Don't film me. I'm filming you. Go away. You're not welcome here. Why are you here? Reaches out and touches the subject of his inquisition. That's a great word for it. This professor is harassing and intimidating this young man and should be questioned by police. This clown knows he's backed by big money. He does. Especially not just being a professor, but being a professor of global health. You know this guy gets probably beaucoup research funding from who else? The World Health Organization, WHO. And where do they get their money? Bill Gates. And so, yeah, it's rarely the engineering professors. Yeah, exactly, because they face real world consequences. But this is a guy he's versed in like anthropology and global health, and I doubt his decisions come back to bite him. This, though, might. For the first time in his life, yes, because it's going viral. Strip him of his tenure and fire him. Filming people is not allowed, the clown proclaims as he is filming someone. Anyway, so you get the point. But, oh, that's funny. Somebody said he probably told his wife he's at conferences in another city. It's teachers like this that have ruined our education system. We need to fire every teacher like this and hire back better. Expel, fire, arrest, deport. I know, if you're so into this, dude, why don't you go over there? Why don't you go over there? If you're into global health, go to Palestine and be involved in global health. But he's not there. He's a DEI professor. Yeah, and he's also versed in racism, okay, DEI. The second he touched me, it would be over. Here's an honest question. I'm going to end with this. If the universities are public property, and that's why the universities can't have the police remove students, and no doubt the many non-student professors, would it be legal for anyone to be on campus, seeing as it's classified as public property? Wouldn't it be legal for anyone to be on campus? I assume. Should have worn your mask, Professor James Pfeiffer, like the rest of your commie coward comrades. Exclusionary tyrants. There is no expectation of privacy in public spaces. Filming normally is legal in that case. Yeah, well, anyway, you get the point. So by their fruits you shall know them. Correct. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Please put a like on the video if you like it. Please subscribe. And let me know what you think of Professor James Pfeiffer, the global health professor at University of Washington. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.